Member for Telang Usan.
Thank you, Tan Sri Datama Speaker. And good afternoon to you, also. Tan Sri Datama Speaker, this bill being based on the principle of the Malaysian Agreement 1963, MA63, to provide a more modern and comprehensive approach to the management of Sarawak's natural resources and environmental conservation, which finally includes provision that will empower us to exercise full authority over critical areas such as 1. Resource conservation, 2. Environmental management, 3. Pollution control and sustainable development. With the world today placing environmental protection as one of its top agenda, the timely move by our state government in introducing this bill will enable us to safeguard Sarawak's natural resources as well as to promote responsible, sustainable development in alignment with global environmental standards. Taking into consideration the latest development on environment and emerging environmental concerns, I was made to understand that this also has adapted and fit to the local context of Sarawak. This bill could also be called, quote, sedia payung sebelum hujan, unquote, meaning this bill, once passed, will protect Sarawak's environmental sustainability for foreseeable future. With this bill, Sarawak will have the necessary regulatory power, leveraging on data stated to mitigate environmental risks and to ensure environmental sustainability, which facilitates the implementation of Post-COVID Development Strategy, PCDS 2030, especially with reference to the third pillar on environmental sustainability, which is, and furthermore, the salient features such as management of scheduled waste, regulation of industries through issuance of licenses, enhance of the enforcement capabilities, and introduction of new offences and penalties will further enhance our ability to minimize environmental degradation while offering higher level of deterrence and to encourage economic development by regulating emission, waste, and pollution from industries. This will ensure a cleaner and healthier environment for Sarawak citizens, which foster a better quality of life. Tan Sri Datama Speaker, sir, the state move with this ordinance will guarantee keeping Sarawak as clean and healthier environment. Augurs well with Sarawak's tourism product pillars, which is culture, adventure, nature, food and festival, in short, CANFF, and our tagline, Sarawak More to Discover. Through our Sarawak Tourism Board, STB active participation and continuous effort, promotion of our state at World Travel March in London and ITB Berlin and other travel events all over the world, Sarawak have stood strong among our competitors, be it in this region as well as the world, as Sarawak could offer nature beauty with pristine nature, jungle, river, an array of flora and fauna, and adventurous challenges-based destination. In fact, Sarawak offers none to other country fantastic nature and adventure tourism spot and attraction, especially in this region. Indeed, our natural beauty is our great asset, and we must therefore do all we could to protect our God's gift asset. I am very confident the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, and in particular Sarawak Tourism Board STB, give our strongest support to this initiative. Tan Sri Datama Speaker, the bill will also demonstrate that economic growth and environmental sustainability are not mutually exclusive, but can in fact complement each other, ensuring that future generation inherits a thriving, resilient environment. It also allows Sarawak to exercise full autonomy over its environmental governance, thereby strengthening its ability to preserve its unique ecosystem while fostering sustainable economic and social development. At this juncture, I wish to see the new authority fall on and within the Sarawak government will be used to enhance basic benefit from nature's beauty we are so blessed with, especially among the very rural communities in Sarawak. Therefore, the Sarawak GPS government's commitment to this bill demonstrates a forward-thinking and proactive approach to governance where the needs of the present are met without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own. With this legislation, Sarawak is reaffirming its commitment to a greener, clearer and more sustainable future. Tan Sri Utama Speaker, Sir, environmental matters in Sarawak which are currently regulated by Environmental Quality Act 1974, Act 127, a federal law, and the Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance, Chapter 84, bracket 1958 edition. A state law has, I believe, created confusion among the public and overlapping of jurisdiction between Department of Environment Sarawak, DOE, and Natural Resources Environmental Board, NREB. Hence, this new comprehensive piece of regulation is timely that I strongly feel the right move or the right time for us to have only NREB to look after the environment. Before I take my seat, I wish to rebut the statement made by Pending earlier on the opposition to the proposed Tutoh Cascading Dam. This is not here, where she stated that the state government ought to look and listen to the protests by locals and documents signed by, I'm not sure whether it's truly 1,000 local people, which was handed to YB Premier Office. And it goes also to say that there was lack of engagement with the would-be affected locals. I thought that as a people representative from a political party that have quote democratic and unquote word to their names, Pending should also listen to both parties before coming up with a comment. You preach democracy, therefore you should seek to get information from people who support the state government too, not only from a small group from their side. She mentioned that there was signed document by 1,000 people, but I dare to say, if this is the yardstick, whether to go on or not with the project, the 4 YBs in Baram can easily get 40,000 signatures to support the project. This is what we know. The local memang setuju untuk kerajaan melihat kepada pelaksanaan cascading dam di Sungai Tutoh. And she also mentioned there was no engagement with the local people. This is truly untrue because the Ministry of Tourism, SEB, and all relevant authority have done a number of engagement, not only with the people that represent the kampung or the community leaders, termasuk NGO yang lawan kerajaan, termasuk political party, whereby saya, Datuk Garawat, also sat in the engagement session, di mana kita bersedia bertengkar, bergaduh dengan mereka. But during that kind of session, they are very quiet. Mereka tak tunjuk belang mereka. We are actually ready to say what we know about the proposed project, but there's none. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say here is, as said by Pending, there's no engagement. This is not true. I am very sure that the government of Sarawak are doing and propose the project secara yang betul, iaitu engagement dengan berperingkat-peringkat level ketua masyarakat dan level of our community. The GBS state government is not a naive government. We are a caring government. In fact, all the statement by YB Premier is done after he collect the facts, fakta, including when he mentioned that Tutoh Cascading Dam was given green light by local community to go ahead with the planning. This is very, very true. And I believe YB Premier will not dare to say it kalau tidak ada kenyataan surat yang sedemikian daripada komuniti, termasuk orang daripada kawasan saya N77 Telangusan yang melihat kepada keperluan pembangunan ini salah satu cara untuk kita membawa pembangunan ke kawasan kita. We have learned from Baram Dam experience whereby after it was not done, now we are back to square one. Every day saya dengan Datuk Gerawat YB Anyi menerima mesej, menerima video bahawa jalan kita putus, jambatan putus, landslide here and there, because logging company is no longer there, but the people who oppose development before is nowhere to be seen also. Jadi kita juga yang terpaksa memikul bebanan, which we don't complain, we are trying our best to do it. So Tutoh Cascading Dam actually telah mendapat green light daripada komuniti kita yang mahu melihat projek ini dinilai, diteliti. Kalau dia baik, kita akan menyokong. So at this point of time, it is all in planning process. Jadi thank you so much, Datuk Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker. Therefore, I fully support this bill to be passed in this August House in the spirit of the Malaysian Agreement, MA 63. Thank you, sir.
Member for Opar.
Honorable Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker and esteemed members of this August House. Congratulations to Honorable Deputy Premier, the Second Minister of Natural Resources and Urban Development, and Adun Pembukit-Sari for presenting this bill here in this August House today. Today, we stand at a critical juncture in our journey towards a sustainable future. Thank you for this opportunity for me to speak in favor of the Natural Resources and Environmental Bill 2024, a vital piece of legislation that seek to enhance the conservation or the prevention of damage to our natural resources, control of such activities which may cause pollution, manage, protect and improve our environment, and safeguard our biodiversity. Thank you to the federal government for allowing Sarawak to handle our own environmental matter, especially that is related to our waste management that can be processed to generate power. This practice has been established in many countries. First and foremost, the urgency of this bill cannot be overstated. Our planet is facing unprecedented environmental changes, from climate change and deforestation to pollution and biodiversity loss. These issues threaten not only our ecosystem but also our health, our economy, our future generation. This bill is our opportunity to take decisive action to safeguard our natural heritage and ensure our sustainable environment for all. One of the key provision of this bill is the establishment of comprehensive framework for the conservation of natural resources. And our forests, our rivers, wildlife are invaluable assets that must be protected. By implementing sustainable management practice, we can restore degraded ecosystem, preserve biodiversity, and ensure that these resources remain available for future generations. This is not just an environmental imperative, it is an ethical responsibility. Furthermore, the bill emphasizes the control of pollution, which is a pressing concern in our community. Air, water, and soil pollution have far-reaching health impacts, appropriately affecting vulnerable population. By instituting stricter regulation and enforcement mechanism, we can hold polluters accountable and promote cleaner practices across industries. This will result in healthier communities, improve quality of life, and reduce healthcare costs. The management and enhancement of the environment through this legislation will also create economic opportunity. Investing in sustainable practices and green technologies will drive innovation and job creation. As we transition to a greener economy, we can stimulate growth while preserving our natural resources. This will align economic development with environmental stewardship, demonstrating that we can indeed have both. What we must do is to conduct stringent monitoring, continuous enforcement, and taking legal action, including financial penalties and imprisonment to non-compliance. Moreover, the bill fosters community engagement and participation in environmental decision-making. By empowering local communities, we can harness traditional knowledge and innovative solutions to address environmental challenges. This collaborative approach not only strengthens our democracy, but also ensures that voices of those most affected by environmental policy are heard and valued. Some may raise concern about the potential costs associated with implementing of the bill. However, I urge you to consider the long-term benefit. The cost of inaction far outweigh the investment required for conservation and pollution control. Protecting our natural resources today will yield dividend for our economy, health, and environment tomorrow. With approximately 2,500 metric tons of waste generated daily, amounting to an alarming 912 and 500 metric ton annually, 9,012 and 500 ton annually, we are faced with significant challenge that requires our immediate attention and action. We need to address these pressing issues that affect the health of our environment and the well-being of our community in Sarawak. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, however, moreover, the shadow waste from industries totaling between 28,000 to 37,000 metric tons per year pose an even greater concern. These figures are not just numbers. They present the potential hazard that threaten our environment, our health, and the sustainability of our resources. The proposal by Sarawak government for regional waste management development represent a transformative shift in our strategy. By focusing on a renewable energy solution, we can turn waste into resources rather than a burden. We can harness energy from waste, reduce our reliance on landfill, and minimize the environmental impact of waste disposal. This approach not only addresses the immediate concern of waste management, but also contribute to our long-term goal of sustainability and environmental stewardship. In conclusion, the Natural Resources and Environmental Bill 2024 represent a bold commitment of the GPS government to a sustainable future of Sarawak. It is a comprehensive approach to addressing the urgent environmental challenges that we face and safeguarding our precious natural resources. Let us seize this opportunity to be proactive steward to our environment, ensuring a livable planet for generations to come. Together, we can create a legacy of environmental responsibility and sustainability that will serve as a beacon of hope for our children and our grandchildren. I urge all of you in this August House to support this vital legislation. With that, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I fully support this Natural Resources and Environmental Bill 2024 with this pantun. Dari Sebako pergi ke Kuching, menaiki ekspres dipandu laju. Kalau semua kita menyokong, Sarawak berdaulat dan terus maju. Thank you very much. Suara aku serak.
Member for Tebeda.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. My utmost gratitude and sincere thanks for the opportunity rendered to me to participate in the debate of the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the Honorable Deputy Premier for the Minister for Natural Resources and Development, to a member for N82 Bukit Sari for the successful tabling of the bill this morning in this August House. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in the course of preparing this debate to support this bill, I asked myself, are there any other laws or ordinance in Sarawak readily available to protect the environment and our natural resources? My research found that there are 5 other bills or ordinances dedicated for this purpose. They are namely, the first one, Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance 1993. The second one, Environment Reduction of Greenhouse Gas Emission Ordinance 2023. The third one is Forest Carbon Activity Rules 2022. The fourth one, Land (Carbon Storage Rules 2022. And the fifth one, Wildlife Protection Ordinance 1998. In 1993, a law was passed in Sarawak called the Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance under Cap 84, called Laws of Sarawak. Pursuant to that, the Natural Resources and Environment Board, or NREB, was established. The NREB is tasked with the responsibility of protecting and managing the environment and the conservation of natural resources of the state, based on the principle of sustainable development. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, today we witness the tabling of another bill called the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024 in this August House, with the aim to enhance the enforcement powers of the agency to achieve our goal to better protect our environment and manage our natural resources. This enhanced bill seeks to provide for better provisions to conserve, manage, and enhance the environment and natural resources, control pollution and other matters related to the management of the environment and better control of environmental pollution. The enhanced bill also allows Sarawak to implement the provisions on scheduled waste and other provisions on scheduled waste and, in the Environment Quality Act 1974, Act 127, to be carried out by Sarawak in phases agreed between the federal government and Sarawak government under the 18-point Malaysia Agreement 1963. On this note, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, we thank the federal government for agreeing to allow Sarawak to better manage our environment and our resources. Sarawakian know Sarawak better. Sarawakian can manage our environment and our resources better. We hope that the federal government will not stop here, will not stop in this matter, but continue to agree to continue to grant us more autonomy in the future in other matters such as education and health, as enshrined in point 14, education and healthcare. Our government, the GPS government, will continue to fight for our right as enshrined in the MA 1963. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, the objective of the bill can be achieved with the establishment of Natural Resources and Environment Board with a total number of 13 to 18 members headed by a chairman appointed by the Majlis Mesyuarat Kerajaan Sarawak. The appointment of the controller of environmental quality is then made by the board with approval of the minister. He will be responsible for the day-to-day administration and management of the board. This enhanced bill provides the power and authorizes the enforcement officers to investigate, to arrest, to search, to seize, to detain, and to issue compound to the environmental would-be offenders. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Clause 27, which empowers the Minister on recommendation of the Board to prescribe any activities which may have significant impact to the environment and provides for the requirement for the submission of Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA report by any person intending to carry out such prescribed activity to the controller. This will help mitigate and regulate activities that has far-reaching and damaging effect on the environment to protect and conserve our very, very, very delicate biodiversity, our land, our air, our water, and our soil. Clause 86 provides for the imposition of financial penalty for any non-compliance or breach of any provisions under the ordinance should be adequate to deter would-be offenders. A significant increase in the compound issued to offenders from 30% term to 2/3 of the maximum fine is definitely and surely a deterrent to would-be offenders. Uncontrolled economic activities, uncontrolled and unregulated disposal of waste and scheduled waste has brought great and irreversible damage to our environment. This bill has provisions to protect us, humans, animals, protect our resources and the habitats that all these microorganisms live in. It also provides legislation to regulate issues on pollution, contamination, and most importantly, how we respond to any calamities and environmental disasters like oil spill. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, let me share an incident not too long ago happening in Penang. There was an oil spill in Penang, as reported by Sahabat Alam, has polluted a 5-kilometer coastline on the island has caused major harm to the ecosystem, marine life, and seabirds. It brought economic losses, especially for fishermen and those involved in marine culture. Hence, with this bill, the responsible authority can step up its monitoring and thereafter enforce this regulatory role provided in this bill. Tan Sri Tuan Speaker, unscrupulous dumping of scheduled waste, radioactive materials can be also very dangerous, and this need to be regulated. And I'm very sure that this bill provides all the provision to regulate anything that falls under this matter. Open burning and deposit of refuse. I wish to inquire from the Minister on Clause 38, Section 1, 2, and 3, in the case of hill paddy shifting cultivators who cut down an area for the purpose of paddy planting and did an open burning. I appeal to the Minister and the Controller to probably exclude these activities from the requirement to apply for license and offences of open burning. These poor farmers, if compounded, will definitely leave behind a very deep and big hole in their pocket. So kita kesianlah timbalan premier. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in conclusion, I believe this bill is a bold and a pragmatic step to ensure our environment, our air that we breathe, water that we drink, food that we eat are safe for all of us, and our natural resources are protected. On that note, together with my fellow members who spoke earlier than me, I beg to support this Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024. Thank you.
Member for Ngama.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, saya ingin merakamkan penghargaan terima kasih kepada Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker kerana memberi ruang dan peluang kepada saya untuk membahaskan rang undang-undang sumber asli dan alam sekitar Bill 2024 yang dibentangkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Timbalan Premier Sarawak merangkap Menteri Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Kedua di Dewan yang mulia ini. Rang undang-undang ini sangatlah penting kerana ianya akan memperkukuhkan lagi kuasa dan mengawal selia urusan sumber asli dari Kerajaan Pusat kepada Kerajaan Sarawak. Tahniah kepada Kementerian Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Bandar kerana berjaya membuat undang-undang yang sangat penting ini. Berkuat kuasa pada 1 Januari 2025, Sarawak sekali lagi mendapat kawal selia kuasa yang lebih menyeluruh, terutamanya melibatkan pengurusan alam sekitar dan sisa bahan industri, terutamanya dengan lebih menyeluruh. Penghargaan terima kasih kepada Premier Sarawak dan Menteri-Menteri Sarawak yang dipertanggungjawabkan menguruskan peralihan kuasa pada awal lagi. Seperti yang kita sedia maklum, bidang kuasa yang kita perolehi ini adalah rangkaian dari bidang kuasa yang termaktub dalam Perjanjian Malaysia 1963, MA 63. Tidak keterlaluan jika saya katakan di sini bahawa setiap kali kita bersidang untuk membentangkan rang undang-undang, ahli-ahli yang berhormat yang berada di sini mencipta sejarah baru untuk Sarawak. We must be proud of ourselves because we are a history maker for our future generation. Dengan izin, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, dalam rang undang-undang yang dibentangkan ini, penugasan Lembaga Sumber Asli dan Alam Sekitar NREB akan bertambah dan bidang kuasa mereka juga akan lebih luas berbanding sebelum ini, di mana ianya dibahagikan kepada dua bahagian, iaitu di bawah kawalan selia Jabatan Alam Sekitar. Saya berkeyakinan tinggi bahawa NREB mampu menggalas tanggungjawab yang besar ini berdasarkan pengalaman mereka bertahun-tahun sebelum ini. Sedikit kekangan yang mungkin timbul adalah dari segi penambahan sektor baru dalam inisiatif ekonomi hijau terutamanya. Kekangan lain adalah seperti kekurangan pegawai dan petugas terutamanya yang melibatkan bidang penguatkuasaan dan perundangan. Tetapi saya amat yakin perkara sebegini telah diperbincangkan di bahagian tertinggi pengurusan NREB itu sendiri. Justru NREB mampu menjadi peneraju di dalam pelaksanaan polisi yang baru dan yang telah sedia ada. Tabir urus dan pelaksanaan yang baik dalam bidang-bidang ini akan memperkukuhkan misi dan visi Sarawak untuk menjadi masyarakat maju dan berpendapatan tinggi menjelang tahun 2030. Tan Sri Datuk Abang Speaker, dengan penerangan yang ringkas ini, saya sangat optimis dan berkeyakinan tinggi Sarawak di dalam delegasi urus selia kuasa yang diturunkan oleh Kerajaan Persekutuan kepada Kerajaan Sarawak. Oleh yang demikian, saya menyokong penuh agar rang undang-undang sumber asli dan alam sekitar BIA 2024 ini ia dibentangkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Timbalan Premier Rangkap Menteri Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Kedua Negeri Sarawak yang mulia ini. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Baklalam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In allowing me to participate in the debate of this bill, the Natural Resources Environment Bill 2024, I rise to express my support for this bill because once approved, it would be a crucial piece of legislation that seeks to address the urgent need to conserve, manage and enhance the environment and natural resources in our beloved state of Sarawak. This bill is a step forward in ensuring that we not only protect our environment, but also manage our natural resources responsibly for the benefit of future generations. May I record my appreciation and thanks to the Honourable Deputy Premier, with also the Honourable Member for Bukit Sari for tabling this bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill, as we know, includes provision to control pollution and improve the management of various forms of environmental degradation that affect our communities. It also seeks to strengthen our ability to manage hazardous and residual waste as outlined under the Environmental Quality Act 1974, with the Sarawak government assuming greater responsibility for enforcement as agreed under the Malaysia Agreement 1963. The scope of this bill encompasses a wide range of natural resources, resources that are the lifeblood of our economy, our cultural heritage, and the well-being of our people. Air, biodiversity, minerals, oil and gas, forest produce, land, water, and marine life. These are our treasures. These are the resources that sustain not only our economic development, but also the unique way of life that has existed in Sarawak for generations. Mr. Speaker, I fully support the bill, particularly because it recognizes the need to better manage these invaluable resources. It ensures that our environmental policies are not only comprehensive, but also responsive to the challenges of today's world. We are at a crossroad where we must make choices that balance economic progress with environmental sustainability, and this bill lays the foundation for that balance. Mr. Speaker, however, while I am in full support of this bill, I wish to raise one important point of caution, particularly with regard to the provision under Section 23 concerning the gazetting of conservation areas. This section allows for the designation of both alienated and unallocated lands as conservation areas, which is a critical move to protect our environment. But I urge respectfully that the government to take into account the significant presence of native customer rights holders in these areas. Our indigenous communities have lived on and cared for these lands for centuries. They have a deep intrinsic connection with the land, forests, and rivers that sustain them. Their lives are interwoven with the natural environment, and their livelihoods often depend on the sustainable use of these resources. As we move forward with this bill, it is essential that we ensure NCR lands are not negatively impacted by conservation efforts. The recognition of native customer rights must not be overlooked or diminished in the process of establishing conservation areas. Rather, we should find ways to protect and uphold these rights, ensuring that the indigenous people of Sarawak are partners in the conservation process, not excluded or deprived of their rights. Mr. Speaker, I propose that in implementing this bill, the government should take proactive steps to engage with NCR landowners and communities, ensuring their voices are heard and their rights are protected. Any conservation measures must be inclusive and equitable, balancing the need for environmental protection with the rights and needs to those who have traditionally relied on the land. Mr. Speaker, conservation should not be a tool of disenfranchising our indigenous communities. Instead, it should be an opportunity to foster partnership between the government and local communities, encouraging sustainable land management practices that benefit both the environment and the people who have always cared for it. In conclusion, I wholeheartedly support the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024 as it represents a significant step toward preserving our natural heritage for future generations. Let us work together to ensure that conservation efforts protect not only our environment, but also the livelihoods and cultural practices of the indigenous people of Sarawak. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to the successful passage of this bill. Much obliged.
Member for Satok.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam Sarawak maju makmur. Dan Sri Datuk Amar Speaker, thank you, sir, for allowing me to participate in this debate for the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024 in this August House. My appreciation goes to Honourable Deputy Premier and Member for Bukit Sari for the tabling of this bill, which is timely given our current climate in both our economy and our environment. Ensuring protection and preservation of the environment is the priority of the Sarawak government and the Right Honourable Premier. The Honourable Member for Gedong, as he has pivoted our approach towards sustainable energy development and production since assuming office in 2017. Through this, not only are we able to explore, pioneer and produce our energy resources, in doing so, we are able to become among the global leaders in the new economy. It goes without saying the aspect of environmental preservation as well as energy production derived from sustainable sources such as hydrogen, ammonia, and methanol, among others, must go hand in hand. We must look at the big picture while we continue to focus on our energy transition agenda, and we should not be in abject neglect of the environment. Mr. Speaker, it is vital that our long-term strategies remain viable and our future resources remain sustainable. The success of our strategies, be it the post-COVID development strategy, the Sarawak Gas Roadmap, and the Sarawak Hydrogen Roadmap, as well as development master plan, hinges on the preservation of the environment. These will be the movers of the current economy and economy of the future. There is inherent value, sustainable resources, green resources, but failing to maintain it means the value is lost. Mitigating climate change and achieving net zero in carbon emissions could not and should not be achieved solely by energy transition. In fact, it begins with efforts of preservation, and this is what we seek to achieve. Carbon capture, utilization, and storage, i.e. CCUS, is a crucial step in mitigating our carbon footprint. Sarawak's natural advantages and resources position us to be a leader in this technology, with the potential to not only reduce emissions, but also to create economic opportunities through carbon trading and carbon solutions. Sarawak has an estimated 30 trillion cubic meters of carbon storage capacity in the seabed of its continental shelf. With our location outside the ring of fire, the space that we have in depleted oil fields and saline aquifer, it positions us as a major player in CCUS. However, if we are to advance in CCUS, robust regulatory frameworks are essential. Through this bill, authority is given to the Natural Resources and Environmental Board to provide guidelines pertaining to environmental preservation when taking carbon capture, utilization, and storage activities. At the same time, it also oversees the environmental requirement for forest carbon license activities. I believe that with NREB being the regulatory authority, we can undertake CCUS activities to the highest safety and environmental standards. This will allow us to put a stamp on our position as a reliable global partner in climate initiatives while attracting responsible investment in green technology. Mr. Speaker, waste management is another area where strong regulation can make a significant impact. While Sarawak has made strides in waste management, inconsistent enforcement, a lack of standardization in waste disposal processes hinder our progress. To improve, we need a system that enforces standards for recycling, composting, and waste to energy facilities. We must push for the adoption of sustainable waste practices by businesses and municipalities. Those engaging in improper waste management and disposal must be held accountable. I welcome the imposition of cess upon waste generated by industries and businesses. This will nudge our economy to be more efficient and reduce wastage going to the landfill. This aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as well as the concept of environmental, social, and governance, ESG. Waste management is costly, and the cost of generating more waste should be offset by those who are producing it. We must incentivize waste reduction given its impact on the environment, and we must push for the implementation of green waste solutions. I suggest that the board explore the need for public waste management campaigns as well as the provision of equipment needed by SMEs to undertake proper waste management using the environmental fund. This promotes circular economy whereby we can minimize waste using natural resources sustainably and regenerate the nature. Mr. Speaker, another significant priority is reducing emission from industries. We have set a target of net zero emission by 2050. Our two-pronged approach must encourage industries to adopt cleaner technologies, invest in renewable energy sources, while at the same time reduce pollution to the environment. Materials, substances that are hazardous to the environment emitted as a byproduct of our industry must be reduced. This requires a top-down approach whereby the authority is given to the Sarawak government through the NREB to identify and prohibit these pollutants. We should move with the times and ensure our processes in industry to be as sustainable as possible and do not pose any harm to the environment as well as the people. I hope the industry players will take heed of our regulations to ensure that they can continue their business in the new economy, one that is more vibrant and responsible to the environment. Failing to do so, I support the strongest of actions to be meted on errant individuals and businesses, as we must not compromise on the aspect of health and safety. In conclusion, sir, this bill is our commitment to securing the health, prosperity and sustainability of our beloved Sarawak and the environment. We are known globally for climate leadership and our inroads in energy transition. However, we must not rest on our laurels and allow destruction to the environment that we fought so hard to preserve. With that, I beg to support the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024. Thank you.
Member for Pujut.
Thank you, Dan Sri Dato' Amar, Speaker. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate on Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024 in this August House. Firstly, I would like to commend the Honourable Deputy Premier, Second Minister for Natural Resources and Urban Development, and Minister for International Trade, Industry and Investment, and Honourable Member for N82 Bukit Sari, who tabled this bill in this Dewan. The comprehensive bill is a bold and timely initiative by the Sarawak government, underscoring our commitment to responsible environmental stewardship and sustainable development. I thereby commend the government for initiating such proactive steps, especially during the time when the global and local need for natural resource management and environmental preservation is more pressing than ever. The establishment of the Natural Resources and Environment Board through this bill is considered as a timely and proactive move. The board will have the mandate and authority to ensure that Sarawak's natural resources are managed in a way that protects our environment, benefits our people, and preserves these resources for future generations. The establishment of such a board signals the government's recognition of the importance of structured oversight and regulatory frameworks to safeguard Sarawak's rich environmental assets. Dan Sri Dato' Amar, Speaker, the introduction of this bill is crucial as Sarawak continues to grow and develop as we push forward with ambitious projects under the Post-COVID Development Strategy 2030, PCDS 2030, we must also be vigilant to mitigate environmental risk that could arise from the increased economic activities. This bill provides the framework to regulate, monitor, and guide all resource-related activities, ensuring that they are aligned with Sarawak's vision for a sustainable and green economy. Through the establishment of the Natural Resources and Environment Board, we will be better equipped to address critical environmental issues. The board will have the authority to regulate activities such as land use, mining, vegetation clearance, and water usage, all areas that are essential to the well-being of our environment. The power will enable the board to take swift action in preventing pollutions, protecting water resources, and preserving natural landscapes. This bill's focus on controlling pollution and environmental degradation is an essential part of safeguarding Sarawak's natural heritage. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, the most significant benefits of this bill to Sarawak are as follows. Firstly, it enhances our ability to protect biodiversity by allowing the board to set goals and policy to maintain environmental quality. This is critical for sustaining our rich flora and fauna, which is not only a source of pride, but also a valuable asset for ecotourism. Secondly, the bill also permits us to take proactive steps in climate action, especially through the provisions for carbon capture, utilization, and storage. This aligns with global efforts to reduce greenhouse gases and mitigate climate change. Most importantly, this bill enables Sarawak to exercise greater autonomy in managing our natural resources, particularly water resources, by empowering the board to oversee and regulate activities related to water use, pollution control and conservation, the authority to implement policies that are tailored to our unique environmental needs and development priorities. This increased control strengthens our position in addressing local challenges directly without relying on directives from the federal government. Ultimately, this autonomy fosters self-reliance and ensures the decisions about Sarawak's natural resources are made in the best interest of our people and our sustainable development. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, this bill is greatly connected to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Specifically, it supports SDG 6 on clean water and sanitation, SDG 13 on climate action, SDG 15 on life on land, and SDG 12 on responsible consumption and production. By enacting laws that protect natural resources, reduce pollution, and promote responsible land use, we are actively committed in contributing to these international goals. Sarawak is making it clear that we are not just focused on economic growth, but also equally dedicated to ensure that our development respects and safeguards the environment. The bill also plays a critical role in Sarawak's transition to a green economy. Through strict regulations on resource extraction and waste discharge, this bill helps us to reduce environmental harm from industrial activities. Moreover, by encouraging carbon reduction initiatives, this legislation will attract more investors interested in eco-friendly and sustainable practices. The board's power to support carbon reduction efforts and environmental audits further positions Sarawak as a leader in environmental responsibility and make our Sarawak more attractive to sustainable industries. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, this bill is a significant step towards achieving the PCDS 2030 goals. A well-managed environment is key to sustainable growth, and we need to ensure that development activities are balanced with environmental protection. The creation of a green economy will not only preserve Sarawak's natural beauty, but also open doors to green jobs, ecotourism, and sustainable industries that are aligned with our vision for an inclusive and more resilient economy. In closing, This bill is a defining moment for Sarawak, symbolizing our commitment to a future where growth and sustainability go hand in hand. With that, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, Pujut supports the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024 as it represents a milestone in Sarawak's journey towards sustainable development and environmental excellence. Thank you.
Member for Serbu.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, for the opportunity given to me debating on the amendment of Natural Resources and Environmental Bill 2024 at this revered August House. Thank you and congratulations to Yang Berhormat Dato' Amar Haji Awang Tengah Aliasan, Member for N82 Bukit Sari, Deputy Premier and the Second Minister for Natural Resources and Urban Development for taking the initiative to table such important amendment to the current Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance by ensuring it meets the current needs and demand of modern and thriving era of developments. The anthropogenic pressure on the environment has escalated over the past centuries, and the need of environmental protection measures has increased. This has led to considerable experimentations with the domestic and international measures that are used to achieve environmental protection objectives. Thus, the importance of law are paramount parameters and measures that introduced by any government to ensure that the environment must be protected from any harm. Environmental law describes as a network of regulations and customary laws that address the effect of human activity on the natural environment. Environmental laws play a huge part in protecting humans, animals, resources, and habitats. Without these laws, there will be no regulations concerning pollutions, contamination, hunting, or even response to disasters. The purpose of the environmental law is to protect and to preserve the environment for present and future generations and to ensure sustainability development. As for this Natural Resources Environment Ordinance Amendment, I was made to understand that the purpose is to introduce a new offense and penalties to ensure compliance with the laws and regulations and to punish those who break the law. I'll put my concern the most on the offenses for restricted activities with or without license. Water quality is another critical area of focus in the environmental law. Contaminated water can pose significant risk to human health, leading to illness and even death. I hope this law too will cover the most stringent measures to monitor and control water pollutions, ensuring that water resources are safe for consumption and other uses. I take for example that those companies or shops that are doing the vehicle servicing at any commercial area, we can see with our own bold eyes on how they dispose their used engine oil and others related oil using a simple gallon. If it's not been handled properly, it might be leaked and disposed to the drain. If we pass by any of those with so-called mechanic shops and look at the nearby drain, the drain is served with black oil color telling us what is the content. So who will be responsible to impose law against these activities? The same goes to the many conventional pig farms situated in various places throughout Sarawak. Many intense conventional pig farms dispose their waste or feces directly to nearby stream or might be rivers. Again, I take for example from the study that been carried out by researchers at Sungai Serin at Padawan on the impact of pig farming on the water quality at the said river. Results of the analysis show that the tributary that receive pond effluent has significantly higher mean of total suspended solids, TSS, biochemical oxygen demand, BOD5, chemical oxygen demand, COD, ammonia nitrogen, NH3N, reactive phosphorus, SRP, and Escherichia coli or E. coli concentrations when compared to those tributaries that did not receive waste pond effluent. From the analysis result show that this Saluran River is severely polluted from the conventional pig farming activities surrounding it, and might be the tributary of this river is the source of water for treatment plant. I agree with the intentions of the amendment of Natural Resources Environment Ordinance that those who purposely break the environmental laws and regulations must face the severe actions and penalties. So we need to imply the stringent law for all these activities, from keeping polluting our water source and environment at large. There must be a countermeasures methodology that can be introduced by any relevant agencies, but ensuring that any economic activities must be in line with our environmental protection policies. This commitment is formulating the regulations is anchored in the principle that robust legal framework are essential for achieving environmental goals with the broader context of sustainable development and governance SDG, both globally and at the regional and national levels. I believe the introductions of the new offenses and penalties is aimed to foster cohesive decision-making, ensuring that enforcement actions are well as higher deterrents on pollutions of environment are effective and efficient. With that, Tan Sri Dr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Member for Pelagus.
Dato' Tan Sri, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to thanks for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate of the Natural Resources Environment Bill 2024, tabled by our Honorable Deputy Premier Sarawak, Minister for Natural Resources and Urban Development, also Assemblyman for N62 Bukit Sari. This new bill is important step for Sarawak legislation to reclaim back our rights of the natural resources and environment. It is critical because the bill seeks to provide for better to provision to conserve, manage and enhance the environment and natural resources, control river pollution or air pollution and other matters related to management and environment. This bill is also allowed the implementation of the provision on scheduled waste and other provision in the Environmental Quality Act 1974 to be carried out by Sarawak in phase as agreed between the federal government and Sarawak government under the Malaysian Agreement 1963. The tasks on the environmental issue are under the Sarawak Natural Resources Environmental Board, that is NREB, and federal government, DOE. These tasks create division, especially on the enforcement and monitoring issue. With the introduction of this new bill, all matters related to environmental and waste issues will be under Sarawak authority, and we have full control on the jurisdiction, especially involving the management of environmental and the management of waste under new schedule of the bill. Tan Sri, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, related to this bill, Sarawak NREB may face several challenges to implement with this bill. The challenge prior to the delegation of power from the federal DOE to Sarawak NREB are as such. First is on the environmental degradation. The NREB must be prepared to address the environmental impact of development in Sarawak. Next challenges will be on the enforcement. The NREB needs to improve its enforcement capabilities and equip itself with the skill and drive sustainability solution. But I believe with this bill, there are part of the clause said that they have to train and reskilling the workforce. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Next will be on the revenue. The NREB needs to find ways to increase its revenue to cover the costs of environmental management and protection. The NREB needs to engage with stakeholders to foster a collaboration approach to environmental protection. And lastly, on the environmental laws, whereby the NREB need to enforce environmental laws and regulation. Despite these challenges, we still optimize that the NREB can overcome these obstacles and rise to the challenge. The first hurdle is always difficult, but given the time frame, NREB definitely can work it out. As being explained by the minister in charge, NREB is also developing the environmental information system, Sarawak ENVISS, a scheduled waste management system equivalent to DOES, such as the Electronic Scheduled Waste Information System, ESWIS. My premise in the Environmental Quality Electronic System, EKAS. This system are one step forward as a process of transferring environmental autonomy under the Malaysian Agreement 1963 will be carried out again in phases. Before concluded, Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I would like to thank the Sarawak Premier, the Ministry in charge, the Steering Committee, Technical Committee, and the Committee responsible for legal matters, human resources, system development and infrastructure. Well done to everybody for making this bill a reality. Finally, with that being said, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I strongly support the National Resources and Environmental Bill 2024, presented by our Deputy Premier. Thank you, sir.
Member for Engkeli.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Dato' Amar Speaker. Saya memberikan ucapan sabas dan tahniah kepada Yang Berhormat Tamalan Premier, Menteri Sumber Asli dan Pembangunan Bandar Kedua, dan juga Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N82 Bukit Sari yang telah membentangkan Natural dan Resource Bill 2024 pada pagi ini. Bil yang sedang dibahaskan ini amatlah sesuai sekali dalam mengambil kira keadaan semasa yang semakin mencabar. Ordinan ini yang bagi untuk membuat peruntukan yang lebih baik bagi pemeliharaan sumber asli, keadaan pencemaran, pengurusan dan penambahbaikan alam sekitar di Sarawak serta segala perkara-perkara yang berkaitan yang bersabit dengannya khasnya untuk memperkasakan empowered kerajaan Sarawak khasnya memberikan kuasa yang lebih efektif dan eksklusif bagi Sarawak menguruskan sumber asli dan alam sekitarnya secara autonomi dan holistik, serta mempunyai hak yang penuh melalui NRB seperti yang termaktub dalam hak-hak Sarawak dalam MB 63. Di samping itu juga, bil ini akan dapat memperkasakan NRB supaya mempunyai kuasa yang mutlak sewaktu menjalankan tugas-tugas rasmi atau semasa mengambil tindakan undang-undang bagi kesalahan-kesalahan yang dilakukan oleh mana-mana pihak, khasnya yang bersabit dengan kesalahan-kesalahan yang melibatkan pelanggaran alam sekitar. Bil ini bersalah maknanya kena dengan kelulusannya nanti akan memberikan kuasa yang penuh kepada kerajaan Sarawak melalui NRB daripada DOE yang mengakui kerajaan persekutuan selama ini, supaya kepentingan Sarawak khasnya rakyatnya serta generasi-generasi yang akan datang akan dapat menjaga dan memelihara, menikmati alam sekitarnya sendiri, termasuklah tanah, air, pencemaran bunyi atau apa-apa saja yang berkaitan dengan alam sekitar, seperti yang telah dibahaskan oleh rakan-rakan saya yang terdahulu sebentar tadi. Secara langsung atau tidak langsung, bil ini juga selepas berkuasa nanti akan dapat mempertingkatkan pendapatan ekonomi, sosial dan alam sekitar, dan mesra alam sekitar akan lebih berkesan dan lebih bertanggungjawab oleh rakyat Sarawak keseluruhannya. Oleh demikian, adalah amat dialukan ke semua wakil rakyat termasuk pihak pembangkang agar tidak mempersoalkan tujuan dan objektif murni ini, bil ini dalam usaha kerajaan kita di Sarawak bagi menjaga hak-hak kita yang bersabitkan dengan masalah pengurusan alam sekitar. Yang berhormat Tuan Sri Thomas Speaker, dengan ini Inggerilih menyokong penuh bil Natural Resource Environment Bill 2024. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Kota Sentosa.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to participate in the debate of the Natural Resources and Environment Bill 2024. It cannot be disputed that environmental laws and governance are paramount in protecting and restoring our planet and forging a sustainable tomorrow. Protecting the environment is not only essential for preserving the natural world, but also to protect human health. As such, environmental laws must be designed to address various environmental concerns that can directly or indirectly impact human health, such as air pollution, water pollution, and dangerous waste. Air pollution, for instance, has been linked to numerous health issues, including respiratory diseases, heart disease, and even cancer. Environmental laws regulate emissions from various sources, including vehicles, factories, and power plants, to protect air quality and reduce the risk associated with poor air quality. Water quality is another critical area of focus in environmental law. Contaminated water can pose significant risk to human health, leading to illnesses and even death. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, environmental law and governance stand